Good morning, welcome to Central Kentucky Outdoors. I'm your host, Mattingly. We're on beautiful Green River Lake. Follow along with me as I try to catch some bass. It's gonna be a good day. I usually slow down when all these people are fishing like this. When I'm this close and I'm running to them, it's kind of a common courtesy to slow down for them. I wouldn't want nobody messing up my fishing, so just kind of a common courtesy thing. Looks like they're whacking the crappies today. Back in here, the channel gets really narrow and the lake gets really narrow back in here, so you really have to follow that channel really closely to be able to get back in here right and not mud out. So I can usually get within 2 feet of my last trail, as you can see right there. So you wouldn't imagine this far out that there'd be so shallow of water. You could tell where the actual bank comes off there. Especially in the springtime, they have a lot of floating debris because it was up during the fall, and then when they brought it down from summer pool to winter pool, where it is now about 10-15 foot down, all that trash and debris from the bank ends up back in the lake. Alright, like I said, we're following the trails back in here, and I've got a depth finder right here too, and it's showing me that right now, you know, back there it was 5 foot deep, and up here it's like 7. So it just tells you the ways you can get back into the channels. This place is littered with stumps, and we're sitting here in the back of a creek, and I know it kind of doesn't look like much on that side, but the whole bottom of that side is just littered with stumps. And this time of year, right now, it's 5 to 10 foot deep where those stumps are. Those fish are going to move up there because it's warmer. This had to be an old forest right here. That's awesome. There's no telling how old those stumps are. I have 3 different rods rigged up here, and they've all got different line sizes, different lures, and all the rods are different actions. Like this time of the year, these fish are gonna be up in the skinnier water because it warms up quicker. We're sitting here in the back of a creek, and like I said, we're sitting in about 5 to 10 foot of water. And right now the water temperature is about 49. It's mid-March, so I know there's 3 different stages that they're going to be in throughout the year. There's pre-spawn, there's spawn, and post-spawn. That's where they go to lay their eggs. And right now they're moving up to, they're in the pre-spawn mode. They're following the crawdads and the shad up into the shallow water to feed before they spawn. So that's kind of what I'm going off this time of year. Like I said, I kind of already know what I'm going to do. Right now I'm throwing a jig, and a jig really imitates a crawfish really good. Just kind of hops and stops along the bottom. The fish come over and just pick it up. When you feel a bite, you better set the hook because he doesn't have hands. He's not picking it up with hands. When you throw the jig out, what you do is you let it sink to the bottom. I don't know if any of you guys ever fished a Texas rig or not, but it's basically the same concept. You let it go out there, sit on the bottom, you give it 2 or 3 little pops, let it sit for a second. Just try to make it look alive like a real crawfish. The best thing I could tell you is to start out with a lot of natural colors, especially when you got clearer water. Now in stained water, you want to kind of go something that's going to be a good silhouette. But right now we've got kind of clear water, so I'm going with a lot of natural colors like greens and browns. Kind of hop it and pop it and drag it along the bottom. Like I said, trying to make it look like a little crawdad. All right, right now I'm fishing with it's a 7.2 medium heavy fin with Atos rod. Like I was sitting there talking about, I have 3 different rods rigged up here, and they've all got different line sizes, different lures, and all the rods are different actions. The 7'2" medium heavy, it's long enough to where I can get a good long cast, but it's still short enough where I can be accurate with it. And the medium heavy is the actual action of it. It's a little bit heavier. That way when the fish bites the jig, I can get a real good hook set on him, drive the hook into his jaw. Fishing with 17-pound trilene, 100% fluorocarbon. The fluorocarbon actually sinks down in the water and actually helps the jig. Plus it doesn't have as much stretch as the monofilament. That way I get a really good hook set. It's all about the hook set. That's 90% of the battle there. Water temperature is 47 degrees. I can tell all that off my graph down here. Got a Lowrance graph. Awesome products. It's colored and it's got a 5-inch screen here. The cool thing about it is it tells you the depth, which is up here. There's the water temperature. And down here, you can see all these right here. These are all little stumps. Down in the water, you see some debris and things like that. But you just gotta learn to read them. Like I said, some of these are stumps. These are just the way the bottom's contoured. You can see some of it's a little bit softer. You know, see the warmer spots are softer and the darker spots are harder bottoms. So that's how you tell. One time somebody asked me if I thought I needed to be quiet while I was fishing, if it really made a difference. And to be honest with you, I really don't think so. I mean, sound reflects off the water. I mean, they've proved that. And I've had some of the best days of fishing while I was out with my dad just hooping and hollering and making all kinds of noise. So I don't really think it bothers them. I think the only time noise really bothers them as when you're beating and banging in the boat. Because, I mean, I think sound projected over top of the water is just going to bounce right off, but I'm sitting here stomping on the boat. I think that might have a little something to do with it, especially in shallow water. But I think there's no really reason to be quiet. Get some older guys, they'll be, shh, now you gotta be quiet. Nah, I don't think so.